The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Welcome, everybody, to today's version of the Mayor's and Supervisors Update, or should I say this week's version. I am Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you comments from the Mayors and Supervisors across our community. Today we'll be starting with Mike Falk, the Lima Supervisor. How are we doing, Mike?
Pretty well, Chris. Thanks for having us all today. Just another reminder, May 21st and 22nd are the Town of Lima cleanup days, open to all residents of Lima. This does include the electronics collection, where there is a 3 television limit per household. You must obtain a permit from the town clerk prior to the event. Call 582-1130 for details. The Lima Town Board met this past week, May 4th. One of the discussions that was held was the opening discussion on the cannabis legalization. NYSAC, the New York State Association of Counties, has put together a really nice sort of green paper, if you will, that looks like this, so that you can read up on what the actual Marijuana Regulation Taxation Act is all about. And how it affects everything. You can access your own copy of that at nysac.org. That's nysac.org, right at the bottom of the home page. You can also get some more information about marijuana and how legalization has affected other states and their projections and stuff from a group called learnaboutsam.org. So it's all one word, Learn About Sam. SAM is Smart Approaches to Marijuana. The group was founded by Kevin Sabet, who worked in drug policy for President Clinton, President Bush, and President Obama before stepping out to do private advisement and things like this. They have a whole host of interviews, podcasts, white papers, and they've done a really good job of tracking all of the things that have happened to places like Colorado and that, so that you can see where New York will be in a few years. As far as the town of Lima is concerned, this was just the initial presentation that I did. There will be public hearings scheduled and a discussion on whether or not to opt out of the dispensaries and the on-site consumption and all the implications thereof. Again, any municipality that's going to opt out has to opt out by the end of the year, or you are automatically in. We will see how this all sort of shakes out. The town board also had a presentation from the town engineers, Clark Patterson Lee, on providing public water outside of the village. There's the map. If you would like a copy of the map, swing by the town hall. We've got a bunch of them. The broad brush goal is to provide public water for all the streets outside of the village and lower our water costs. So part one of that, of course, which we've talked about before, when you receive your dog water survey, please return it as soon as possible, all nice and filled out. The more of those surveys that we get in, the fewer we have to go out and chase in order to make our minimums, and it keeps our costs down for all of this. There will be a follow-on public opinion survey online after the dog water thing sort of kicks off. Lastly, Livingston County is going to be holding free babysitter training. This is an online course through the American Red Cross, and the county will if you qualify, pick up the course costs. So in order to apply, www.livingstoncounty.us/1246, that's 1246, /babysitter-training-program. And as your kids get older and they want to start branching out and make a little bit of money with babysitting, this online course sets them up for success in that endeavor. That's all I got, Chris.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Eileen, the village of Scottsville. How are we going swimming along in there? Well, I did that last time, so you got to unmute yourself again.
Oh, always have to remember to unmute. Okay, Scottsville's doing very well. Some of the things that have happened recently, last weekend we had an Arbor Day planting, a triangle between Grove and Rochester Street where we planted 3 new trees, 2 tulip trees and I think a dogwood. So anyway, that was nice, very small because of COVID, but it should add to that area. Let's see. Also, this past week, there was a pop-up pod at the Scottsville Fire Department by the town and the fire department. And I don't have any feedback on that yet, but hopefully it was very successful. It was a nice, easy way for residents of the area to stop in, get their vaccination if they hadn't already received it. Okay. Onward to things going on upcoming in the village. There are 2 open positions at the DPW, so we are a bit short-staffed at the moment. But we will be hiring 2 new laborers and we'll be fully staffed by the end of the month. So all I ask is to everyone to please be patient with our DPW. They're running a little short-staffed and it may take them a little longer to get everything done when we only have a crew of 3 at the moment. Okay, the DOT, the state DOT, I contacted them recently about the triangle on Main Street where the intersection of Rochester Street, River Road, and Main meet. And there's a triangle there and we have an occasional accident there, sight distances. So we've done some things. We did some things last year, which we prohibited parking along a side of the triangle that was being used for parking. But anyway, the DOT came in and did a study. And while they found that there were not a great amount of accidents there, so they did not feel that it was necessary to reconfigure that area. But they did add some new striping to help people realize that Main Street, especially Main Street going north onto Rochester Street, does have the right of way. And those people going south on Rochester Street toward River Road need to yield to that traffic. Our monthly board meeting will be held this Tuesday, May 11th at 6:30 p.m. remotely, as far as I know. Watch our Facebook page and our website, because I just heard today that the town will be opening the building on Monday. So I don't know whether we'll just hold the meeting remotely to finish that up and whether we'll be able to hold meetings back in the municipal building again. At the meeting, we'll be setting a public hearing for a local law regarding a no parking section on Beckwith Avenue. We had a request from the school to make part of Beckwith Avenue on the south side by the school a no parking zone near the exit of the school bus. It's not a bus loop anymore. It's more of a pickup loop. And parking close to that exit has obstructed the view on Beckwith Avenue. So they've asked for a no parking sign in that area. We've researched it, we've looked at it, and the local law has been written, And we will set a public hearing for that at our board meeting for June 11th. The other thing, we are seeing the return, I think I mentioned it in my report last week, of door-to-door salesmen in the village. We had an experience last week where we had about 6 or 7 from a group canvassing the town. And we went and talked to them. I called the Monroe County Sheriff to have them with us too, because there was such a number. And they did not have a peddler's permit. They had not gotten one from the village offices. And it is required that anybody going door to door selling any product or services needs to get a peddler's permit from the village first before they go door to door and present it to anybody who asks. So I'm reminding residents, please, if anybody comes to your door to sell anything, services, products, whatever, please ask to see their village peddler's permit. If they do not have one, then please ask them, tell them they need to get one from the village. Do not engage with them on buying anything. You can call the village office, and you can also call 911. If you call the village office, we're going to contact the police too, to make sure that they stop going door to door. And if they want to, they need to get that permit. Let's see. I want to thank you, Mike, for the information you gave on some information and resources on the cannabis legislation. We will be discussing it with the board at our next upcoming meeting. And I think you're correct. It's a good idea to have a public meeting about it to give the residents of the village a little more information on what's going on. And I appreciate the information you passed along. I will be looking into it. So that's about it for Scottsville, and we hope everyone has a nice weekend, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Eileen. John Moffett, Town of Mendon. What's going on there?
Good afternoon, everybody. Just hitting a few points that I've talked about in previous weeks. We're finishing up our brush pickup. Obviously, if you missed brush pickup, you can bring things to the highway department during regular business hours on Summel Road, and you can drop any brush off there if you happen to miss the pickup times. I've mentioned this before as well, is that we're upgrading our flowers. So we've got new flags going in the hamlet and some new banners. So those will be going up in the next couple of weeks. Memorial Day, Mayor Milne isn't here, but we're going to have Memorial Day parade both in the hamlet on Memorial Day as well as the village of Honeoye Falls. And, everyone is certainly invited, and please feel free to observe all the social distancing requirements at that point. Summer recreation is on. Registration is open. I encourage our residents from not only Mendon, but our partners in village and town of Lima, West Bloomfield, to have their residents look into it. It's a very nice program. I know people are concerned about what they're going to do this summer, and I encourage them to look into that program. Also, the tentative assessment roll is available online at the Town of Mendon's website. Grievance day is May 25th. If you have any questions about that, you should call the assessment office at the Town of Mendon. We are also looking into having a recycling day in the Town of Mendon, and I'll have more of that next week. Just starting to get some information on that right now, but we're moving ahead and hopefully have a date set by next week's forum. So again, thanks for the time.
All right. Thank you, John. Todd, are we blooming in West Bloomfield?
It's a wonderful day in West Bloomfield. Thank you, Chris. From a couple different perspectives. From the school is continuing to work with Ontario County for the possibility of having a vaccination pod at the school. The County Public Health Department has done a couple of pods at Marcus Whitman and I believe Red Jacket, and so they're kind of exploring other ways to get out into the community and increase that vaccination rate across the county. School districts are an interesting opportunity because there are the possibility for students to bring their parents with them. So it's an opportunity not only for the kids now that we can get 12 and older, but we might be able to bring in some parents as well. So stay tuned for information from that from the school district and or from Ontario County Public Health. And there continues to be pop-up pods. County Public Health has done a couple of local businesses, I believe Pactive and Guardian Glass have taken advantage of some pop-up pods along with FLCC. From the school perspective, also summer rec with the village and town of East Bloomfield, town of West Bloomfield, and Bristol. That will be going on along with obviously what's going on in the town of Honeoye, Falls, town of Mendon. This year in East Bloomfield, they're expanding and doing a little more after summer rec, some sports programs. So there's a little more coordination with the school and the athletic department. So there's some opportunities there. If you're not aware of them, please contact again through the school district. From the town perspective, we are nearing our completion of some additional acreage from Mr. Prouty behind the town park. So that's future use for the town for any expansion of town facilities. And that should be completed relatively soon. We had some resolutions at our last board meeting in regards to that. We will therefore be doing some additional signage at Prouty Park for the new community town hall. I'm putting up the sign again for Prouty Park with that language, redoing the roof at the pavilion available from the town clerk for that pavilion in Prouty Park. So I look forward to people being able to take advantage and use that facility as the outdoor venues are getting a little bit more open. Encourage everyone to continue to maintain social distancing, etc. Get your vaccine if you can. CMAC will be open this year. They just announced that they will be open this year. So there are concerts scheduled, etc. at CMAC. So make sure that you're paying attention to those and looking forward to getting into some of those outdoor events. Our town board meeting will be next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Look forward to any public participation. Zoom info is out on the town website. First quarter sales tax. We saw an increase in first quarter sales tax this year over last year's sales tax revenue. So some optimism that at least some things have turned around and the potential exists for continued sales tax increase over the course of 2021. So we'll see how that carries out. Our town board has had several discussions in regards to the marijuana legalization. The Association of Towns and NISAC are great resources for us. And to add on to some of Mike's comments, what I think people should really be aware of is that the legislation that has recently passed it is legalized and towns need to opt out. In the past, it had been opt-in legislation. Now it's opt-out legislation, and the impacts of opting out are the potential loss of sales tax revenue, et cetera. It does not impact what is legal for residents to have either in possession or use. So it's really on the municipal side and what the sales tax impacts, et cetera, are of that. And so that's something that the board kind of takes pretty seriously. For West Bloomfield, we are in a somewhat unique position because depending on which direction you go, you're going to hit a neighboring county and a neighboring town. Some municipalities are looking to their counties for guidance. It's not a county ordinance or law that needs to be passed. It's an individual municipality. But in other states, there are instances where, depending on what neighboring towns are, you've got folks going to, the neighboring town to take advantage of what dispensary might be there. And that just creates an additional burden as we share law enforcement agencies, so for the state troopers and the sheriffs, et cetera, if you've got folks traversing county boundaries. So we'll look forward to kind of continuing that discussion and working with our partners and making sure that we at least can try to prevent a somewhat more consistent front for those within the greater community. And that's it for me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Todd. Anybody else have anything they may have forgotten? Nothing? Okay. Well, thank you all for being with us this week. And thank you all for watching us. We'll be here every Sunday at 1 o'clock in the morning. No, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I fooled you. On our Facebook page and YouTube channels. Bye-bye.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, and happy Mother's Day. I forgot about that. Now, bye-bye for now.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.